You feel it, even if you don't say it out loud, even if you hide it from everyone. You feel this constant restlessness, this almost suffocating sensation that you were born for something much bigger than what you're experiencing. You look around you and see time slipping through your fingers like sand. You see people giving up on their dreams. You see opportunities being buried by fear. And a part of you silently cries out for help, for change, for freedom. You know that what you carry inside you is great, but there are days when you doubt. There are nights when you wonder if you'll ever make it. It's not just about money, it's about life, about purpose, about waking up every day with a flame burning in your chest and not feeling like you're just surviving. Today, here, now, you will discover what separates those who just exist from those who change the world. And if you allow yourself to follow this journey to the end, something inside you will never be the same again. Poverty is an invisible prison, built brick by brick in the walls of the mind. It starts as small beliefs that seem harmless. I wasn't born for this. Only those born in a golden cradle stay rich. Money is difficult, it's dirty, it's for others. And every time you accept these ideas, it's like putting another chain around your own soul. What nobody taught you is that real wealth doesn't start in your pocket, it starts in your mind. Earl Nightingale taught that success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. This means that in order to change your reality, you first need to change your inner ideal, who you believe you can be, what you believe you deserve, how you see your own worth. Think now, if someone hijacked your mind for 24 hours and replaced all your limiting thoughts with beliefs of courage, prosperity, and personal power, what would happen? You'd start acting differently. You'd start talking differently. You'd start attracting new opportunities like a magnet, because external reality always reflects internal reality. What you feel and believe most deeply about yourself and the world shapes the decisions you make, the risks you agree to take, the habits you build. And this creates your destiny. You need to understand a simple and brutal truth. The world does not bow to your needs, but to your strength. The universe doesn't reward those who wait, it rewards those who act. The ancient Stoics, such as Seneca and Epictetus, knew this. They taught that the only thing we really control is our mind, our judgments, our internal choices. It's not what happens to you that defines your life. It's what you do with what happens. Epictetus said, "It is not things that disturb us, but the opinions we have about things." You're not poor because you were born into a certain family, or because the crisis knocked on your door, or because someone denied you an opportunity. You are poor or rich to the extent that you respond to reality, to the extent that you shape your mind to act with purpose, courage, and consistency in the face of what life presents. Most fail because they seek security, but security is a deadly illusion. The entire history of humanity was written by those who dared to leave their comfort zone. Think of Alexander the Great, who at the age of 20 began to conquer the known world. Think of Thomas Edison, who failed more than 1,000 times before creating the light bulb. Think of Oprah Winfrey, who overcame abuse, extreme poverty, and rejection to become one of the most influential women in history. What did they have in common? A stubborn refusal to see themselves as victims, an almost insane faith in their own worth, a brutal willingness to endure pain and rejection without bending. And here comes neuroscience. Our brains are programmed to seek immediate pleasure and avoid pain. This is how we survive as a species. But what most people don't understand is that true pleasure, true happiness, true freedom come from the ability to postpone immediate reward in exchange for something greater. Every time you choose to get up early, study harder, work harder, even without a visible reward, you are reprogramming your brain. You are strengthening the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for planning, self-control, and conscious decision-making. You are literally shaping yourself for greatness. The poor live by the immediate dopamine system. Social media, fast food, Netflix, small gratifications that quench the momentary thirst, but rob the soul in the long run. The rich, the builders, live by the delayed dopamine system. Long-term goals, conscious sacrifices, building assets, investing in themselves. Every daily choice is a vote in the direction of who you want to become. Imagine now your future in 5 years' time. If you continue exactly as you are, with the same thoughts, the same habits, the same fears, where will you be? The answer is brutally clear. in the same place, or worse. Because in the universe, there is no such thing as stagnation. You're either growing or you're slowly dying. James Clear, author of Atomic Habits, says that you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. In other words, there's no point in wanting to be a millionaire if your habits are those of a broken person. You need to build daily systems that inevitably lead to wealth. This starts small, with tiny decisions but made with fierce consistency. Waking up earlier, reading every day, studying finance, investing in yourself, denying immediate pleasures in the name of a greater vision. These small acts, repeated thousands of times, shape your identity. And when your identity changes, the outside world has no choice but to follow. Look at Jeff Bezos. Before he was the richest man in the world, he was just a young man obsessed with an idea: to build the biggest online bookstore on the planet. He slept on his office floor. He carried packages on his back. He endured years of uncertainty and derision. But his vision was more real than the pain. His purpose was stronger than fear. And slowly, inevitably, the world bowed to his inner reality. You need to decide, once and for all, which pain you will endure, the pain of discipline now or the pain of eternal regret. Because the price of success is paid up front, but the price of failure is paid forever. Every morning that you wake up and choose to be less than you could be, you accumulate emotional debt. You sabotage your own spirit. And one day, you wake up old, tired, and empty, wondering where you lost your way. Don't let that happen. Wealth is not just a question of bank balance. It's an inevitable consequence of becoming the right person. Money is attracted by value, competence, and courage. If you want to be a millionaire, you need to build yourself up as someone who deserves to be a millionaire. You need to act like one, think like one, choose like one. No excuses, no procrastination, without waiting for someone to come and save you, because no one will. And here's another truth that few have the courage to say: success is brutally lonely at first. As long as you're changing your habits, studying while others are having fun, working while others are resting, dreaming while others are giving up, you'll feel lonely, you'll be criticized, you'll be mocked, you'll be tempted to go back to your comfort zone. But that's the sign, that's the test. If you endure this period of solitude and discipline, you will enter a new layer of reality that few ever reach, the territory of those who create their own destiny. Success is ultimately a question of faith and patience. You need to believe in the invisible before it becomes visible. You need to plant seeds every day, even when there is no harvest in sight. You need to build foundations while everyone around you only sees mud, because true transformation happens in the invisible, in what nobody sees, in what only you feel, like an inner fire that refuses to go out. And on this path, every challenge, every obstacle, every fall is a gift in disguise, because true success requires stronger versions of you. Every time life tests you, it's asking, are you ready for more? And the answer needs to be yes, stronger, wiser, more determined than ever. You are infinitely more powerful than you think you are. Inside you is the spark of the great builders, the great leaders, the great dreamers. But that spark needs to be nurtured. It needs to be protected against fear, against doubt, against the mediocrity that surrounds us like an invisible virus. The world outside is a reflection of the battle going on inside you. If you want to change your reality, change your mentality. Change your level of demand, change your daily patterns. Start now, not tomorrow, not on Monday, just now. Because the future is not a destination, it's a daily construction. What do you want? Really, deeply, honestly, what do you want? Do you want a meaningful life? Do you want freedom? Do you want to leave a legacy? Then stop waiting. Stop negotiating with your dreams. Stop accepting emotional and financial crumbs. Stand up. Decide. Take action. Because no one can do it for you. Remember, life won't give you what you ask for. It will give you what you demand from yourself. The rich people, the great conquerors, didn't ask for permission to succeed. They demanded of themselves such high standards, such ruthless actions, such unshakable faith that success had no choice but to appear as a consequence. Now, ask yourself, how many times have you given up too soon? How many times have you stopped halfway, just a few steps away from victory? Napoleon Hill said that Many of life's failures are people who didn't realize how close they were to success when they gave up. Success often requires just one more attempt, just one more step beyond the pain, just one more decision to persist. And when you persist, you will begin to develop what few possess: anti-fragile resilience. It's not just being tough, it's being like steel forged in fire. The more difficulties you face, the stronger you become. Nassim Taleb, in his book Anti-Fragile, explains that certain things thrive in chaos. You can be one of those things. You can become someone who not only survives the storms of life, but who uses each storm as fuel to grow even more. Discipline, patience, vision. These are the pillars of true wealth, not just wealth of money, but wealth of life. Because true freedom is having the ability to choose your destiny, to wake up every day with a light mind, a strong spirit, and a heart full of purpose. Understand, discipline is the bridge between dreams and achievements. Every little habit you build is like a brick in the construction of your personal cathedral. Don't underestimate the power of what seems small. Reading 10 pages a day, saving a small amount, investing in your mind and body, keeping the faith even when nothing seems to change. These are the invisible gestures that, over time, create visible and extraordinary results. The greats understand this. Warren Buffett, one of the richest men in the world, built his fortune not through spectacular acts, but through unwavering consistency. He understood the power of compound interest, not just applied to money, but to life. Small, consistent actions generate exponential results over time. Now, look inside. Are you willing to do what is necessary? Are you willing to put up with the monotony of excellence? Because it's easy to get excited about the new. It's hard to stand firm when the excitement wears off, and all that's left is the daily, silent, invisible work. That's when champions are forged. That's when the millionaire inside you begins to emerge. You need to act as if your future depended on every little gesture, because it does. You need to treat your goals as matters of life and death, because they are. It's not just about money, it's about honor, it's about purpose, it's about fulfilling the silent calling that has existed within you since you were born. You were born for more. You feel it in your bones. You know, deep down in your soul, that there is a dormant potential inside you, waiting to be awakened. But potential alone is nothing. It's action that turns possibility into reality. The world is full of people with wasted potential. People who could have been giants but were content to crawl because the path to greatness seemed too difficult. The path to wealth, success, and true freedom is not for the weak. It's for those who decide, day after day, to be stronger than their excuses, to be bigger than their fears, to be more committed to their vision than to their momentary comfort. Every morning you wake up, you have a choice. Continue to be a victim of circumstances or become the architect of your own destiny. Keep feeding your fears or start building your courage. Keep hiding behind excuses or start acting with ruthless purpose. The mind is like a fertile field. If you don't intentionally plant seeds of courage, faith, discipline, and action, the weeds of doubt, fear, procrastination, and mediocrity will take over. There is no neutrality. Every day you are growing something. The question is, what? Earl Nightingale said, "The mind is like a field. What you plant, you will reap. If you plant corn, you reap corn. If you plant gorse, you'll reap gorse. If you plant great thoughts, habits of excellence, consistent actions, you will reap a life of wealth and purpose. If you plant excuses, procrastination, and fear, you will reap a life of frustration and regret. You already have within you all the tools you need to create an extraordinary life. What's missing is decision. The decision to act, to persist, to believe, to build, to win, not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. And remember, no one is going to do it for you. No one is going to wake you up at dawn to study. No one is going to drag you away from the sofa to work on your dreams. Nobody is going to invest in your education if you don't invest in it first. The world owes you nothing, but you owe everything to yourself. The journey to stop being poor and become a millionaire is first and foremost a journey of self-mastery, a silent battle between the weak and the strong within you. We all have two voices in our minds, the voice of doubt and the voice of faith, the voice of excuse and the voice of action, the voice of fear and the voice of courage. With every choice you make, you strengthen one of them. The question is, which voice will you feed? Choose the voice of faith, choose the voice of action, choose the voice of courage, and then act accordingly, because faith without action is illusion. Courage without movement is fantasy. Decision without execution is treason against your own potential. You don't need to see the whole path to take the first step. Most millionaires started in the dark, with no guarantees, no certainties, just a burning vision and an unwavering decision not to stop until they succeeded. So can you. Building wealth begins in the mind, but materializes in the physical world through habits, discipline, and continuous action. Nothing happens by chance. Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. And preparation is done every day, in the quiet moments when no one is watching, in the moments when it's easier to give up, in the moments when your whole being screams at you to stop, but you decide to keep going. Rich mentality is not about thinking positive and waiting for the universe to conspire. Rich mentality is about taking absolute responsibility for your own life. It's about refusing to blame the government, the crisis, your family, your boss, your past. It's about looking in the mirror and saying, if it's to be, it's up to me. This decision of total responsibility is the first step towards true freedom. As long as you blame any external factor for what you experience, you will remain a prisoner. But the moment you take charge, everything changes. Because if you caused your current situation, then you can change it. You are the cause. You are the solution. The millionaire is the one who, faced with the same difficulties that others face, chooses to respond differently. They choose to grow, to learn, to adapt. They choose not to give up. They choose to do more, to be more, to give more. And over time, these accumulated choices create an unbridgeable chasm between them and those who have chosen the path of least resistance. Science proves this. Neuroscience studies show that the human brain is shaped by what we repeat. Each choice creates neural connections. Each habit strengthens these connections. If you choose discipline, discipline becomes easier. If you choose procrastination, it also becomes stronger. Every day you are building or destroying your own brain. There is no neutrality. You either train yourself for success or you train yourself for failure. You have to decide which version of yourself are you shaping. The disciplined, determined, visionary millionaire, or the fearful, reactive, distracted, broken person. Ordinary people seek comfort. Extraordinary people seek growth. Ordinary people live for immediate pleasure. Extraordinary people live for long-term fulfillment. Ordinary people give up at the first obstacle. Extraordinary people use obstacles as fuel. You need to choose your side every day. No exceptions. Every little act matters. The way you do anything is the way you do everything. If you allow sloppiness in the little things, you'll allow it in the big ones. If you demand excellence from yourself in every gesture, every word, every thought, excellence will become your nature. And excellence inevitably attracts success. It's not just about making the occasional big move. It's about doing the right little things every day without fail. Daily discipline, brutal consistency, non-negotiable commitment to your future. The difference between the millionaire and the broke isn't talent, luck, or circumstance. It's consistency. It's the daily decision to act according to the vision, not the mood of the moment. There are two types of pain, the pain of discipline and the pain of regret. The pain of discipline weighs grams. The pain of regret weighs tons. What seems difficult today, waking up early, studying while others rest, working while others are distracted, tomorrow will seem like a small price to pay for a life of freedom. But if you choose the easy path now, you'll pay the price of frustration and mediocrity for the rest of your life. Remember, life always takes its toll. The only choice you have is what price you are willing to pay. Freedom is not free. Wealth is not free. Success is not free. Everything worthwhile in life requires sacrifice. It requires focus. It requires saying no to the distractions that drag the majority into mediocrity. It requires saying yes to a future that doesn't exist yet, but that you have already decided to build. The human mind is a powerful tool, but it's also a trap if you don't know how to control it. If you don't master your mind, it will master you. It will look for the easy way out. It will seek immediate pleasure. It will avoid discomfort. But discomfort is where the magic happens. Discomfort is where growth happens. Discomfort is where you become who you were born to be. Great men and women in history have understood this. Thomas Edison endured countless failures and mockery before lighting up the world. Abraham Lincoln lost elections, suffered devastating personal defeats, but persisted until he changed the course of history. J.K. Rowling was rejected by dozens of publishers before creating one of the greatest literary series of all time. They had in common the ability to endure discomfort, to embrace temporary pain in the name of eternal victory. You need to be one of them. You need to decide that your pain today will be your glory tomorrow. You need to decide that no matter how many times you fall, you will always get up stronger. You need to decide that you won't be a spectator of life. You'll be a protagonist. And all of this starts in the mind. It starts with the unshakable decision to no longer accept crumbs, to no longer live below your potential, to no longer sabotage yourself with cheap excuses. No more settling for a life of survival. You were born to thrive. You were born to win. You were born to build something so great that the world will have to bow down to your achievement. But it won't happen by accident. It will happen because you decided to. It will happen because you persisted. It will happen because you refuse to give up, no matter what. Everything you want already exists in potential. It's there, in the invisible field of possibilities, waiting to be materialized by your consistent actions. The question isn't whether it's possible. The question is whether you are willing to pay the price. The universe doesn't deny true dreams, but it does demand unconditional courage. Growth is not comfortable. Growth is painful, confusing, exhausting. Because in order to grow, you need to kill off the old versions of yourself. You need to let go of the excuses that keep you small. You have to face your own fears head on, and even though your hands are shaking, keep going. Growing up is an act of daily courage. You need to understand that success is not linear. There will be days when everything seems to fall apart. There will be moments when you question your sanity. There will be nights when loneliness is your only companion. But it's exactly at these moments that most people give up. That's exactly when you have to persist. Because the great truth is that it's not strength, intelligence, or talent that defines who gets there. It's persistence. It's the ability to keep putting one foot in front of the other, even when your mind screams at you to stop. It's the ability to get up 1,000 times if necessary. It's the unshakable faith that if you keep going, the world will have to give in. Each small act of discipline is a silent prayer to the universe declaring, "I am ready." Every small sacrifice, every difficult morning, every long-term choice reinforces your message to the cosmos. I am worthy of the life I desire. And then, slowly at first, then suddenly, the universe responds. Opportunities begin to appear. The right people cross your path. Doors begin to open. Not by magic, not by luck, but because you have become the person who attracts this new level of reality. This is what Napoleon Hill meant when he wrote Think and Grow Rich. Right thinking isn't just daydreaming. It's thinking in line with massive, disciplined action. It's thinking in such a way that your thoughts translate into behavior and your behavior into concrete results. You must think like a millionaire before you become one. You must act like a winner before you win. You must believe like someone great before the world recognizes your greatness. This is the invisible law that governs all creation. First you are, then you have. First you build the being, then you reap the result. That's why most people never get rich. They want to have without first becoming. They want to harvest without planting. They want to receive without sacrificing. But the world doesn't work like that. The universe rewards internal transformation, not mere intention. That's why, starting today, your mission is simple: to become. Become the person capable of sustaining, attracting, maintaining, and expanding the wealth you desire. You don't run after success. You become the person that success runs to. You become the kind of person who inevitably attracts what you dream of. And for that, every detail matters. Every little action, every little decision, every little daily choice is a vote in favor of your new identity or a vote in favor of your old self. There is no neutrality. Every moment is a silent battlefield where the future is shaped. You need to live now as the person you want to be. Speak now as the person you want to be. Think now like the person you want to be. Act now like the person you want to be. Because that's how the magic happens. You live as if you already are until it becomes inevitable. And yes, there will be resistance. Your old self will fight. Your mind will scream. Your old patterns will try to pull you back into your comfort zone. But greatness requires going through that internal fire. No one grows without pain. No one transforms without sacrifice. Nobody achieves something extraordinary by living as an ordinary version of themselves. You need to become radically committed to your personal evolution. You need to become obsessed with your own transformation. Read books that elevate your mind. Listen to audios that expand your vision. Surround yourself with people who pull you up, not down. Invest in courses, training, mentors. Do whatever it takes to make the old version of you unrecognizable. Big changes require big actions. Small adjustments generate small differences. If you want a revolution in your life, financially, emotionally, physically, mentally, you need to act like someone at war. War against mediocrity. War against procrastination. War against the conformism that destroys dreams before they are even born. And this war is won in the silence of your ordinary days. It's won when you choose to study instead of watching television. It's won when you choose to work on your vision while others sleep. It is won when you choose to persevere, even when no one believes. It's won when you put the mission above your momentary comfort. That's the difference between those who talk and those who do, between those who dream and those who do, between those who wish and those who live. You need to ask yourself every day, am I acting like someone who deserves what they want? If the answer is no, change immediately. Because time doesn't stop, time doesn't wait, and every day that passes is an investment or a debt that you are creating for your own future. The future is shaped by what you do right now, in this very moment. Every choice, every attitude, every thought creates invisible waves that impact who you will be in the coming months, years, and decades. If you really understood the power you hold in your hands right now, you'd be afraid to even waste a single minute on things that don't take you towards your purpose. You have no time to waste. Life is too short to be small. Every second you spend complaining, victimizing yourself, or procrastinating is one less second you have to build the life you dream of. Great empires were not built by people waiting for perfect conditions. They were built by men and women who understood that perfection is the enemy of action, that the right time is now, and that progress overcomes paralysis. You need to become obsessed with progress, a growth fanatic, a devotee of continuous improvement. Small daily improvements accumulated over time lead to explosive results. That's the power of compound interest applied to life. 1% better every day may not seem like much in the short term, but in months and years, it turns you into an unstoppable force of nature. Mediocrity is not an event. It's a series of small concessions made over time. One day you procrastinate a little. The next, you skip your workout. The next, you stop studying. The next, you choose immediate pleasure over building your future. And, without realizing it, you wake up years later trapped in a life you never wanted. A prison built with your own hands, brick by brick. But the opposite is also true. Excellence is also built like this. One small habit at a time. One small act of courage every day. One small gesture of discipline while no one is watching. And without realizing it, you wake up living a life that seems like a dream to others, but which for you is just the natural result of years of quiet, consistent work. If you want to be a millionaire, act like one now. Think like a now. Decide like one now. Commit to high standards now. Refuse to accept less of yourself now. Because life isn't a promise, it's an opportunity. And opportunities don't wait. They favor the bold, the disciplined, the hungry, those who are willing to do whatever it takes for as long as it takes until they succeed. You need to be driven by something greater than the simple desire to make money. Money is important, yes, but it's a reflection, not the end goal. Money is a thermometer that measures the value you deliver to the world, the impact you make, the discipline you have. When you focus on building value, on solving problems, on serving at a high level, money comes as an inevitable consequence. Focus on being the best version of yourself. Focus on building something that transforms lives. Focus on becoming so good at what you do that the world can't ignore you. When you make yourself indispensable, success is only a natural consequence. The world rewards those who refuse to be ignored, those who, through the excellence of who they are and what they do, impose their presence, their vision, their contribution. But to get there, you have to go through phases that most people can't bear. You have to endure initial invisibility. You have to endure rejection. You have to endure the days when no one applauds, no one sees, no one recognizes, and yet you keep going because you know that real applause comes to those who don't give up in the dark. Wealth is reserved for the patient, for those who understand that to plant today is to reap tomorrow, and that tomorrow can often take years to arrive. Each correct action is a seed planted in the invisible soil of reality. You don't see the immediate growth. Sometimes it seems as if nothing is happening, but beneath the surface, roots are forming, foundations are being strengthened, invisible structures are being built. And then one day, everything blossoms at once, and those who haven't understood the process will look at you and say, "It was luck." It wasn't luck, it was planting, it was persistence, it was faith. It was the ability to endure the invisible until the invisible became inevitable. That's the difference between amateurs and professionals. Amateurs act when they are motivated. Professionals act because it's what needs to be done, regardless of the emotion of the moment. If you want to be a millionaire, you need to act like a professional. It doesn't matter if you feel like it or not. It doesn't matter if today is difficult. It doesn't matter if no one is watching. You do what you have to do. You lay brick after brick, day after day, until you've built your cathedral. And the beauty of it is that by building your external cathedral, your career, your assets, your legacy, you're actually building your internal cathedral, your character, your strength of mind, your unshakable faith. Because true wealth is not just what you accumulate, it's what you become in the process. You need to want more than money. You need to want internal power. You need to want self-mastery. You need to want the feeling of looking in the mirror and knowing that you are someone you can trust, someone who doesn't betray their own dreams, someone who is worthy of the extraordinary life they want. It's not about what you earn, it's about who you become. And when you become the right person, the money, the opportunities, the connections, everything you want will start to flow towards you almost inevitably. But this comes at a price, and most people never pay it. Most give up when it hurts. Most back down when they meet resistance. Most settle for less than they were born to be. You can't be that majority. You need to be the exception. You need to be the conscious architect of your own destiny. You need to wake up every day with the conviction that you are building something bigger than yourself. You need to act as if your entire future depended on every decision you make today, because it does. There is no easy path. There is no magic formula. There is no shortcut to greatness. There is only the hard, consistent, lonely, and ultimately glorious path of those who have chosen to pay the price. While others complain, you build. While others are distracted, you focus. While others give up, you move forward. This is the difference that, over time, creates unbridgeable chasms between mediocrity and excellence. You need to become a warrior of consistency, a monk of discipline, an architect of your own personal revolution. Every morning you wake up and choose to do the right thing, even when you don't feel like it. You are carving out a new destiny. Every time you say no to temptation and yes to the bigger vision, you bring closer the great future that already exists in potential for your life. And you need to remember that no one is immune to fear, doubt, or tiredness. Everyone feels it. The difference is that winners act in spite of it. They understand that courage is not the absence of fear. It's acting even when you're afraid. Discipline is not the absence of tiredness. It's acting even when you're exhausted. Faith is not the absence of doubt. It's walking even if you can't see the ground beneath your feet. History's great builders have always been driven by an internal force that transcended external circumstances. Carnegie, Rockefeller, Ford, Edison, Jobs, Musk, they all faced crises, bankruptcies, rejections, failures, but they had something that most don't, an unwavering decision to win or die trying. And that decision set them apart forever. You need that decision. You need to decide that it doesn't matter how long it takes. No matter how many times you fail, no matter how many doors close, you will continue. You will find a way or build one. Because inside you is a power that has never been touched, a potential that has never been explored, a greatness that awaits your summons. And that summons happens now, not tomorrow, now. Because tomorrow is not guaranteed. The only thing you have is the present. And how you use that present determines your entire future. You need to live with urgency. Not anxious urgency, but urgency of purpose. Urgency to build. Urgency to transform. Urgency to fulfill the mission you were born for. You were made for more. You know it. You've always known it. Now it's time to act like it. It's time to abandon the scarcity mentality forever. to leave behind the invisible chains that have trapped entire generations in mediocrity, to erase from your mind any idea that you are not capable, not worthy, not enough. You are capable, you are worthy, you are enough, but you need to act like it. You need to get up every day with the fire of conviction burning inside you. You need to treat your dreams as sacred obligations, not options. You need to look at life as a battlefield where every decision counts, where every action weighs, where every small step shapes your eternal legacy. Stopping being poor isn't just about making money. It's abandoning poverty of spirit. It's breaking with the defeated mentality that always looks for culprits, that always finds excuses, that always sees obstacles instead of paths. Becoming a millionaire is a natural consequence of becoming an inner fortress, a human being so firm, so disciplined, so resilient that nothing can permanently bring you down. You're not just fighting for yourself, you're fighting for the generations that will come after you. You're fighting to break cycles of limitation that began before you were even born. You are fighting to show the world what is possible when someone refuses to give up, when someone refuses to accept less, when someone refuses to live below their potential. Your victory will be the beacon that guides others. Your rise will be the silent permission others need to rise too. Your success will be the living testimony that it is possible to win. No matter where you come from, no matter how many times you've fallen, no matter how many voices have told you it's impossible. And it all starts now, right now, with a decision to burn the bridges to mediocrity, to destroy any plan B, to commit 100% to your mission of building a life of abundance, freedom, and impact. From today, every day will be a new vote in favor of your greatness. From today, every thought, every word, every gesture will be aligned with your extraordinary future. From today, doubt will be replaced by faith. Fear will be replaced by courage. Procrastination will be replaced by massive and consistent action. Mediocrity will be replaced by non-negotiable excellence. And the destination that once seemed distant will begin to draw closer with every firm step, every disciplined gesture, every conscious sacrifice. You were born to win. You were born to be light. You were born to prosper. So stand up, take your place, and build the life that you always knew deep down inside was rightfully yours. Nothing can stop you, because now you know, now you have decided, now you've become unstoppable.